right, coach, our next start sub sit for you has to do, we call it tough to teach, and it has to do with your big man in a drop coverage, a drop pick and roll coverage. Okay. So tough to teach these three aspects for your big man: the footwork of just getting him to backpedal, to move, having active hands, the use of his hands, or his rim decisions in terms of, when to commit to the ball.
I would say for me, it would start with the footwork piece. I think for most guys, there may be some differences, some guys are just naturally, phenomenal at that stuff. Then I would say use of hands. Okay. And then I think the third one, the decision-making at the rim. The other thing about that, I would say, I think that you can make hard and fast rules if necessary to help clean up the stuff at the rim. Just by giving them 2-on-2 rules about when you're going to, whatever term you're going to use, late red, veer back, what you're going to do, and then working on that repetitiously. I think they can get better at that. And that too, though, as you guys know, there's some guys that just have great instincts for that stuff and some guys that struggle with it. But that's what I would say.
Okay. And coach, so your sit is what kind of interests me the most. What would be some of your hard and fast rules as terms of when, you do that late switch? Was it a certain point on the court or, was it?
Yeah, we used to do, because I do think the other part of this is that's hard is like, for instance, the starting position, right? Where do you want him to start? Well, a lot of it has to do with his ability. And then also a lot of it has to do with the effectiveness is the ability of the guy on the ball.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So, how good your perimeter defenders are, obviously greatly impacts the defender on the screener. I think also how much can he handle? Like, for instance, we had Vucevic here, and I think we had 2 top 10 defensive teams. I know we were one year. The next year we might have been 10, 11, 12 in there. And see, with him, you could switch up during the game, during a timeout, just tell him to change it. He could do it instantly. His basketball IQ and feel for things is just so good. Or he might even come back and say, hey, this group is in, why don't we drop more? He's not quick, nor is he slow. But again, his IQ allowed us to do a lot more different things. So to get back to the switching though, so we would do, for instance, if I was on the ball and say I got picked, or whatever, there was a lot of separation for whatever reason. We used to do when the shoulders turn. So if the guy, the defender on the screener, if I see his shoulders turn, which means that guy had a chance to get around him, that was we used to use the term veer. And then there would be a verbal call of veer, and then we would work that out. That's in the middle of the floor.
Yeah.
On the, is that what you're asking about? Yeah. Now on a flare, that's on the roll. On the flare, anything one dribble, we would say, guys got to be able to get back. The screener's got to be able to get back. On the second dribble, if it was penetration, and there's some gray area here, and they had to sense the separation, knowing who the shooter was, and we would veer quicker.
Okay.
Now, if the second dribble was way outside, then to me, we're going to stay, try to get the pass over high hands and be able to get back, get a stunt from the weak side. So we would try to make as many specific rules as can. And that to me also, though, I think if you ask guys about like, what do we spend the most time on? I think college is probably the same way. In our league, if you sit down with analytics people, they're going to say individual and help, put that in the same bucket and pick and rolls. No. So day after game film sessions, walkthrough teaching segments, these are going to be things that are constantly talked about: closeouts, help decision, containing the ball, staying square, whatever you want to emphasize. And then the 2-on-2 aspect of the pick and roll, the protection aspect of the pick and roll, so that, again, there's so much skill on the floor now with so much space. You have to be adaptable enough that part, the pick and roll part, I don't think you can say specifically, this is always how we're going to do it. Yeah. They got to be able to play. And listen, Steph Curry with the ball's a lot different than when they take them out.
Right.
Yeah. And you've got to be able to adapt accordingly.
I'd love to ask you about drop coverage in late game situations, because you see it go away quite a bit in end of game situations with guys that can make shots at the mid-range level. And your thoughts on a guy who's great in drop, but then now he's in the game in crunch time and you need him to, like you said, be adaptable to the coverage. So I guess just the thoughts on the drop level or not dropping late game.
Yeah, I think that for me, and the numbers would bear this out. My last 2 years as a head coach, I became blitz happy because, I know the numbers say, allow hurried contested pull-up twos. I lost too many games letting guys like Chris Paul shoot, hurried contested pull-up twos where he doesn't miss late in the game,
Yeah.
So I think that we became more aggressive. I think there's two ways to go, right? You can either even get softer with it and live with it, or be more aggressive. And so if you don't have a center where you can switch, I think the blitz is the way to go. And I like it. If you look at the numbers in the NBA, blitz is good coverage, and there's that. There's also things you can do, which people do to us, and you've seen it more and more. The Clippers do a great job with this, where you can switch and then run and hit, so you can protect, if you don't want to, if you don't feel like you can switch and leave your center on a point guard, for instance, which is most of them, you can hit. So there's things that you can do out of it. And again, all this stuff to me gets back to what you guys were talking about in summer evaluation. Mm-hmm. What's our base? How much can we get good at? What will the guys be comfortable with? What are the teaching points which will make it, give it clarity for the group? And then what are we going to have to do in the last 4 or 5 minutes of the game against exceptional players? Now, I'll also say this. We got to this the last couple of years here in Orlando. I had a great staff, and those guys spent a lot of time. We would have exceptional player coverages for the whole game. So, like, for instance, you're playing Steph. Any pick and roll with him, whether we would be up, but no matter what, we never try to blow up the screen or fight over the screen. We try to not let him drive away and get right on the back hip, so that no matter what, he knew we were coming from behind. I don't want to get into all of it, but we had 3 or 4 things like that. So the guys knew tonight, Steph Curry is an exceptional ball handler. We're going to an exceptional ball handler pick and roll coverage. Okay. No trying to blow it up, never under, Bigs are up, like that.
Sure. Okay.